Hello everyone. Welcome back to LilyLuLou. My name's Karen and today I'm going to start another little journal, this time made from some Amazon packaging. Now, I've been intending for some time to make myself an ideas book where if I see anything that I want to try, I've got somewhere to store it, along with the notes of where I saw it and how it was done and all that sort of thing. So I wanted to make myself a book to keep all those ideas in, so I've got something to refer back to. And I've also been hanging on to quite a lot of packaging because I wanted to make a journal from packaging, not packaging from a journal. And then over the weekend, I watched a video by Barbara at 49 Dragonflies, and she made a journal cover as part of an international collaboration from an Amazon envelope like this. I think hers may have been a slightly different size, but I thought, I know I've got one of those that I've been keeping, so I thought I will combine the two ideas and make my ideas book from some Amazon packaging. Now, Barbara covered hers with book page. Because we've recently moved and all my old books are still in boxes, I've got nowhere to keep them. I don't have a craft room or even a craft desk in this house. I'm literally working on my kitchen table, so I've got nowhere to keep books, so they're not accessible at the moment. So I was umming and ahhing what to do. And then last week, I made a couple of collage masterboards from all the bits of paper that I've used recently in different journals. Now, this idea came from not the masterboard collage itself, but I saw a video where Julie at Camellia Crafts Designs made a collage masterboard just with strips, and then she used that to make photo kits. And I knew I had lots of strips, so this was actually two collage masterboards that I made mainly from strips, and then I just added a few extra bits on, and I quite liked how that came out, so I thought I might do something similar on this book. But that did throw my plans slightly because I wanted this book to be quite neutral. So the book page appealed to me, but then I thought, I've got so much stuff lying around from the last few journals I've made, I may as well just go ahead and use that. So that's what I'm going to do today. So this envelope is, it's probably better to do it on here, isn't it? It is almost 14 inches wide. It's 13 3/4, and its height is, where are we? Just under 10, so it's probably 9 3/4 tall to the fold, and including the flap, it's just over 10.5. So that's what we're working with. So let's get going and see how we get on. Barbara used book page on both sides of her cover. It looked beautiful, and as I say, that was my original plan, but her cover did crack on the outside once she folded it. So now that's going to be my outside. So I thought I might cover the outside perhaps with some sort of fabric. I haven't decided yet. As I say, I've changed my plan. I wanted this to be very neutral, and now it's not going to be, so I'm not sure yet what we're going to do. Right, so measuring that across, we need to find the halfway point. So if that's 13, that will be 6.5, and then we've got 4 6/8, so we want 6.5 then 3/8. 1, 2. So that's just before the 7-inch mark, so that's there. So I've got my ruler that the dog's been at, very helpful. So that's my halfway mark, and then I need to decide how big my spine's going to be. Now, Barbara did hers 1 centimetre either side of the halfway point, and I think she decided in the end that wasn't quite wide enough. And as she was doing it, I was thinking I would want mine wider than that. Now, I normally work with about a 2-inch-ish spine, so I think I'll do that. I'll go 1 inch either side. So I hope you're all well. It's absolutely horrible weather here today. It's not freezing cold or anything, but it's grey and it's rainy, and I've got the light on, so I hope there's not too much shadow and glare going on. So there's my other mark. Oh, there it is. I'm going to have a look at this now that I've done it. That leaves me just under 6 inches on both sides, so that would be like the width of my papers. Normally when I make a journal, I use A4 paper and fold it in half. So let's just grab the sheet out of the box here. So that will be, probably I will have to just trim the edges, but we'll see how we go. It's okay as a starting point. Now, Barbara used, I think it was some sort of pokey tool to score her lines, and she said it ruined her tool and suggested, sorry, I'm rummaging for my blade. She suggested that you use a craft knife just to break. What we want to do is break the surface of this so that we can bend it, but we obviously don't want to cut all the way through. So because this is so thick and sturdy, putting this on the scoring board is not going to work. That's, you know, it's not going to, you're not going to be able to feel that all the way through. So I'm going to have a go at doing it with a blade, but just really, really gently, just to break the surface of this, so that we can fold it. Now I'm keeping the top flaps on at the moment because I liked the way Barbara's looked with the flaps, and I want to have the pockets. But my flap, as you can see, I've ripped it when I've opened the package. So if I do keep the flaps, I will have to do some sort of little repair job there to make it work. So I'm hoping that that will be enough now to bend this. So I'm going to do, let's put my ruler here just to help it. I'm putting my ruler roughly where I've scored and just lifting to help, you know, to get this started where I want it to fold. So that's one side. Let's do the same with the other side. I hope I'm in frame. one. So then we have the beginning of a sturdy journal cover made from something that would otherwise have gone in the bin. So that's looking okay. So now I'm just going to start covering the inside. I feel like the dog's about to bark, so I apologise in advance. If he does and he starts going on, I'll just pause the camera because it is rather loud. I'm just encouraging these to continue folding, to continue bending. So now we're going to start with some sticking to cover the inside. So I'm just going to pull out some bits and pieces I've got lying around. Probably won't use these bits because they would make good little notebooks or something. Please let me put my blade away before I lose it. And because this envelope's obviously quite thick, I don't really want to put any papers on that are really thick. So I don't want to use any what's the word I'm looking for? Scrapbook paper. Because I think that will be too thick. Some of these are full sheets that I didn't actually use. If you saw the journal that I made for the Ukraine auction, a lot of these papers are what I pulled out right at the beginning of that process, and some of them I didn't end up using. So I have got some full sheets here. I've got a little envelope of bits and pieces there with ephemera and scrap paper. What else have I got here? I think this is all Shabbydabbydoodah paper. I've got quite a bit of scrapbook paper here, but I say it's quite thick. So that'd be better for ephemera, really. That's printed paper. I've got some sheet music. Oh, sorry, I've moved where my camera tripod is to try to make sure I don't knock it, and I've already knocked it, so that didn't work out. I think they're more ephemera bits, so I'll put them over there. So it doesn't look like I've got that as many scraps here as I thought. A lot of them are just full sheets. So I must have used most of my scraps making those collage boards. Right, I've got some there to get started with anyway, so let's see what we can do. I'm just going to use glue stick for this because I will probably stitch round on the sewing machine. Oh, where's my glue stick? I think someone's borrowed my glue stick. Just bear with me. Back again, found it. Right. So let's get started. What should we start with? I've got a bit of something scrappy there, a bit of something scrappy there. This is going to be really random, but as it's only for me, it's not going anywhere. If it doesn't look brilliant, I can always cover it with something else if I really don't like it. I can decorate it up once it's done, you know. I've got options. It's just getting it started. Let's try and use up some of these old scrappy horrible bits. Not that they're horrible, but you know what I mean. They're not going to really be used for anything else. Sorry, I should have done all this really before I turned the camera on, but it's I'm trying to film while it's early and everyone's still in bed to get a bit of peace. So I sort of got up, had a cup of tea, and I've turned the camera on. So I'm not particularly organised, so I do apologise, but at least we're going to get going. So, as I say, I'm just going to be really random with this. I'm going to stick these bits on, and as I say, if I don't like it at the end of the day, I can cover it up with something else. So a lot of these are very similar. I think we are going to need some bigger pieces. These pieces are all quite neutral anyway, so might end up being more neutral than I anticipated after all. That bit might be nice down the middle. Collage is very therapeutic. You don't really have to think about what you're doing too much. So you can get a bit mindless. Just hope this is not too boring to watch. But if you've never done anything like this before, I think it's nice to see the whole process in real time. You know, you sort of get an idea of how long things actually take, and what people actually do when they're collaging. When I first started doing this, I found collage quite intimidating, and really it's just like being back in playgroup. It's just sticking bits of paper. You don't have to think about it. When I'm doing the backgrounds, as I say, I don't think about it too much, because I know as long as the boring stuff's covered, I can decorate this afterwards and make it look more like me, whatever that is. So I've still got a few strips here, strippy type shapes. That's not big enough to go over there. I'm going over the edges. I don't want that there because that's going to be a straight edge, and I'm not going to want a straight edge in the end, so I'm going to bang that in the middle somewhere so that the edges will get covered up by something else. Yeah, Barbara suggested going over the edges so that you can fold those over, and it gives a sort of a neater finish. That's another one. Oh, I think I'm getting to the end of my glue stick. Might have to find another one. So I hope this is not too boring to be watching. I'm going to stick that up there because that will get folded over. I think I'm going to have to use my spare glue stick, which isn't as good, but it will probably be okay for this. As I say, I will be, even whether I use fabric or not, I will be stitching around this because that's what I like. I like a bit of stitching on my work. So Where should we put this one? Keep them quiet because I'm not used to filming myself when I'm doing this. Normally I'm just sitting here playing away with my paper and glue, and I keep forgetting there's people watching me, and it's probably quite boring if I'm sitting here not saying anything, so I'm sorry about that. So I will link in the description below, I'll link Barbara's video where she did this, and I will also link Julie's strip collage. She did keep her clothes on. Max, no. Sorry about that. Had a barking session. Yeah, so as I was saying, I'll link Julie's strip collage masterboard ticket making video, and I will link Barbara's video where she made her cover, so that you can see where this idea came from. I'll take the white bit off of this. A lot of these papers that I'm using are from Shabbydabbydoodah. I made my daughter a journal for her 21st birthday, and it was a big hefty one. The flip through is on my channel if you are interested. I think I'm right in saying that was my first ever video, because I'd had lots of requests to do a flip through, as people had seen pictures of me, of the process of me making it. That's actually what started my YouTube channel over a year ago now, and then I didn't really do much with it for various reasons, and I'm now trying to get going with it properly. But yeah, I made my daughter a journal for her 21st, and her 21st was in lockdown, and originally she had asked to go to Paris for her 21st rather than having a party or anything. So we were hoping to do like a long weekend to Paris, and obviously we couldn't go anywhere because we were in lockdown. So I made her a journal that was sort of loosely travel stroke Paris based, and I used digitals from Shabbydabbydoodah and I think it was Artie Mays, and I printed out loads and loads of copies of those digitals for some reason, so I had loads left over, and I've been using them for different things ever since. And I think in my folder where I keep my digitals before I use them, I think I've still probably got a set or two of those papers hanging about. So, well, this is turning out to be quite neutrally. I thought I had a lot more papers left over that were in those colours, that those what were they? Those collage boards turned out to be in, but I must have used more of those than I thought I had. So maybe this is going to be quite neutral after all. Might look nice with just maybe a cream or, you know, linen cover, or maybe What else have I got? Some canvassy type stuff. I don't know, I'll have to have a look in my linen box, my fabric box, and see what I have. But I don't think I want to do paper on the outside as well. I think I do want to have fabric on the outside. I like the feel of it. I like the feel of a fabric covered journal. Oh look, while I'm talking, I've just found this. If I've got any more of that, that would make quite a nice cover. Anyway, I'm veering off topic, aren't I? Oh, this was from a gardening journal I made for my friend recently. That flip through is on my channel as well. I think all the journals I've made recently, I've put up flip throughs on my channel. I've still got 2 journals that are not finished, that I need to go back to, and both of them were started before we moved, and we moved in December. One is a Peter Rabbit journal. I made a series of 4 Peter Rabbit journals. 3 of them have gone. They've gone to their new homes. And the last one isn't finished yet. And I've just unpacked that over the last week or 2. So I'm going to have to get on with that. And the other one was my daughter's and her fiance's engagement present, which is a book for them to, you know, keep all their wedding plans in. And I had to give it to her before it was finished because we were moving and I didn't want it to get lost or damaged in the move. So it's, the book itself is finished. It's just, you know, the embellishing and adding bits and pieces. You know, I find with a journal, there's no set amount you need to do. It's sort of, you just know when it's finished. I do anyway. I just keep working and working and working and adding. Sorry, I probably went off camera there, didn't I? All I'm doing with these strips is tearing off the straight edges so that everything that's visible as an edge is torn. Yeah, so I just sort of carry on working in my journals until I feel like they're finished. There's no set amount that I do or don't do. And obviously I bear in mind, if I'm making them for somebody or something specific, I try and bear that in mind when I'm making it. If I know it's going to be a book that's going to have a purpose or have lots of writing, then I try not to over embellish it, so that the recipient's got enough space to do whatever you know they're going to want to do for themselves. So my daughter's book probably won't need much more doing to it, but the Peter Rabbit journal, the others I made have all been used as baby books for little boys, but it wouldn't have to be. I don't, you know, you could use it for whatever you want, really, couldn't you? But I want that to look pretty, obviously, so I will be getting that out at some point and doing some more on that. That would probably just be making ephemera and sticking it in and decorating pages and things. Then what else have I got lined up? Got those 2 to finish. I want to make myself a recipe book. My daughter and her family are all vegan, and my husband is sort of halfway between vegan and vegetarian. So I've been playing with lots of new recipes that I found online, and I want somewhere to keep all those. So I want to make myself a book to keep those in. And then I've got lots of ideas for other books that I want to do. So, yeah, got quite a lot in the pipeline. Let's have some of this. So what are you all working on at the moment, and what would you like to see? Because if I'm making you know, journals from scratch, what would you like to see? I really want to make a bee journal. When I was young, I had a CB radio, showing my age there. Do I want that to go up that way? Yeah, I think I do. And my handle was Queen Bee. So, and I seem to have quite a lot of bee bits and pieces. So I really want to make a bee journal. And I also want to make an Alice in Wonderland journal, because I don't know how, but I've ended up with so much Alice bits and pieces. I've got charms, I've got papers, and all of it is stuff that I've sort of just come by. I've not consciously gone out to get Alice bits. I've just ended up with them from other places. You know, I've bought other things, and like say I've bought a packet of charms and there's been a lot of Alice charms in there. Things like that. And then I've also got, I've got this here right next to me, this bag, which was my daughter's, my youngest daughter's, and it's an Alice themed bag. So I thought that would make a really good journal cover. So I've nicked that. No, I didn't. When we moved, we've moved to a much smaller house than we lived in before, so we were all, you know, throwing things away, getting rid of things that we didn't have space for or we didn't need. And that was one of the things that she was getting rid of, because she had that when she was quite young. And she's a big girl now. So, oh look, I'm sticking all these little bits on. I've got some big bits here that I'd forgotten about. So yeah, I want to make an Alice journal just to use up all those nice things. I've got a whole list of things that I would like to do journal wise, themes and things. I just get ideas from so many places, and then I don't have time to do them all. So I'm hoping that by having this channel, it will motivate me to get on and do stuff more often and get more done, she says. Also now, because my two youngest are both at uni, and I lost my job during COVID, so I should have time to get on and play. So that's the plan anyway. So yeah, if there's anything in particular that you'd like to see done on camera, then please feel free to let me know. I know that there's not many people watching my channel at the moment, but hopefully it will grow slowly. And I can take suggestions at any time. It doesn't have to be right when this video goes up. I thought going forward, I would maybe, I might put that over there so that I can overlap that slightly. Yeah, I could do some videos of, you know, when I do make ephemera that I've seen other people do, and I do my own take on it. I thought I would video those, and they'll all go in this book. Obviously, that's what I'm making it for. So that's one thing I plan to do. And then I thought I've got lots of unfinished bits and pieces, like those journals that I mentioned just now. I thought I might video those, video myself working on those when I get round to them. I've covered that hole. We're nearly there with this inside part. And what else did I think I might do? I'll fix that. can't think of anything else at the moment. So yeah, as I say, if there's anything in particular that you would like to see, please let me know and I will have a go, especially if it's something that's out of my comfort zone. Now, I will go back later and any edges that are lifting, especially as I've used this this other glue stick for most of it, I will go back and just make sure that they're stuck down properly. And then, so as you can see, if you are new to all this and you haven't collaged before, you've seen me do this now. There's absolutely no thought gone into this at all. I'm literally just ripping up bits of paper and sticking them down. I'm now at the point where I need a glue page to lean on. So where's all my junk mail? Junk mail, where are you? Envelope. That's another thing I use. If I get junk mail in the post, I save, unless it's really shiny paper, I save everything, and I use the envelopes, which you will have seen if you've watched any of my previous videos. You'll see there's usually some sort of altered envelope included in my journals, and the letters themselves that come in the junk mail, if it's a proper actual letter, I will often use that to glue on when I'm gluing, especially since I don't have my stash of book pages anymore, like I mentioned before. And then if there's, you know, like cards, you often get card advertisements come through the post that are on card. I cover those and use them as journal cards or tags, things like that. So you don't need to, you know, always be spending money buying stuff. That's the whole point of junk journals. So I do like digitals, and I do use them quite often, as I say, but my bases are always rubbish. I use all my food packaging. Excuse me, I just have to let the dog out. I'm back again. Sorry about that. So yeah, as I was saying, I use all my cardboard packaging. I will cut up, you know, I'm talking about not just the packaging you get through the mail, but also, you know, packets of biscuits, pizza boxes. Oh, I've also got an idea to make a journal from my dog food bags. I get my dog food delivered, and it comes in these lovely paper sacks, great big ones, and I just always think, oh, that would be lovely for a journal cover. So I've got a few of those saved in the garage to give them a clean. Obviously I don't want them smelling of dog food, and I will just use a really barely damp cloth with some antibacterial spray or disinfectant or something on it to wipe that all down. Where was my hole I was just going to cover? Oh, there it is. To wipe those down and leave them to dry, and then there's a little tiny hole there. Yeah, and then I want to use one of those to make a journal. I think that would be interesting to see how that turns out. What else do I use? anytime we get any new, anything new, you know, clothes or bedding. Bedding's brilliant because it usually comes on cardboard. You know, it's wrapped around cardboard, and you can use that cardboard for journal covers. And there's usually ribbon around it. Well, you can always use ribbon, can't you? Sorry, I just had to let the dog in again. It's absolutely soaking wet out there, and he's come in covered in mud and just run straight through the house. So as soon as I finish this video, I'll be mopping the floor. Right, I just saw another little hole somewhere. I know that corner needs doing. Both those corners need doing. And then I think we might be done on the inside. Yeah, so anything that comes into the house, any sort of packaging, I will usually save it, and it will end up in a journal somehow, somewhere. So, but that's what I love. It's one of the things I love about junk journaling, because it's, you know, you're saving all that stuff from going into landfill. Or, you know, I know most of, you know, paper-based stuff goes in the recycling bin anyway, so it wouldn't go into landfill. But it's still satisfying to know that it's not being thrown away. It's being used to make something beautiful, or at least something we think is beautiful. So I think this will be the last piece. I know that's upside down, but I don't care. That's going on. So now I'm going to turn this over and just stick all those edges so that it gives a nice finish. And then, as I say, I'll probably cover this side with fabric, I think. And I will stitch that on. So I'll just stick these down. Oh, did you just hear that noise? Sorry if you did. It sounded quite loud here. That's my fridge. I don't know what it's doing, but it's just made a loud noise. I mean, it's the motor. I think it's just, you know, cooling down, but it sounded rather loud. So I was very good this morning because I knew I was doing a video. I didn't put the washing machine on, which I normally do first thing in the morning. I come down and put a load of washing on. And I didn't this morning because I knew I was doing a video, and I always sit down to do the video and think, oh damn, I've got the washing on. Right, I need to snip that corner. Where's my scissors? I'm sorry, every time I go to get something, you're hearing that horrible rummaging. But because I don't have a dedicated craft space, I literally have to put everything away every time I finish. So all of my, you know, my scissors are all my cutting things are in one little bag. All my gluey, sticky things are in another little bag, so that I can just grab them quickly when I want to do something. Right. I think I might need to put a strip of paper along each edge on top of this and cover it, because I don't think I made these long enough. I think I needed to leave more overlap to help them stick, so I might have to do something there. Then the other thing I need to do before I cover this flap is to cut it here and remove this part so that it flaps down more easily. So what I'm going to do, because I want to try and match the shape of these, I'm going to grab something to make a little template. So if I put that underneath there and line up the edges, oh, that didn't work very well, did it? Let's try again. Take 2. My pen's not working. It's better. I'm going to slip that. And then I'm going to use that to make a line there. And a line there. And then I'm going to cut out this middle part. Like that. So I'm definitely going to have to work on these edges. So that's how it's looking at the moment. As I say, these pieces that are lifting, I'm going to go back and put a little bit more glue on there. But what I'm also going to do, now I had some music paper. Right, I'm going to go over these edges. So that everything's enclosed. So if I tear that about there, my ruler's not long enough for this piece of paper. And then we'll tear another one about the same size. Oh, it was long enough. What was I doing there then? Right, where's my envelope? I'm just enclosing these edges to give them a bit of protection. I'll tidy this up later. Just where I didn't really make those pieces long enough that went over the edge. So that's looking much neater there. And then let's do the same on this side. Should have some elevator music playing while I'm doing this to fill the silence. So I'll do the same on this side. Lay flat, please. A little bit of cooperation. Oh, that looks wonky. Actually, I don't know if it's my edge that's wonky or my paper's sitting wonky. Wonky donkey. I'm going to tuck that in and fold that over. Yeah, I think it might have been this glue didn't help. Oops, that was clever, Karen. Now that side's stuck beautifully, but this side does not want to play, so I have to give it a little bit of extra help. This is taking forever. I thought this would be a really quick episode, but let's see if I can get use my pin. Where's my pin? There's my pin. Right, are we working? Yes, we are. I'm just going to put a little bit of art glitter glue down this edge, just to help that, and a little bit here. And this, if I, obviously once I cover this side, that will all be enclosed anyway, so right now I need to do something at the bottom. Not quite long enough. I have to do 2 strips. So you can see I've used this to make one of my paper flowers. Excuse me. I think I need another cup of tea. So, and I'm sure you've sat and watched this for long enough now. So as soon as I've done these edges, finished them off, I'll end this video here, and then when I come back next time, we will carry on from where we've left off. Oh, come on, lay flat. You silly piece of paper. But I just think it's useful to see, you know, what we do when things are not quite as we want them to be, how we overcome these little problems. You see the way people deal with these things and how they overcome any imperfections. Not that anything is going to be perfect, because it's a junk journal. It's not supposed to be perfect. Right, so we just want another little bit there. Oops. That was clever, Karen. Little bit does not want to tuck down under there. Right, so that's that all done for now. I think I'm going to need to clip these. Am I even in view? Oh, just maybe. Normally I can set my phone up to mirror to my iPad so that I can see I've got my iPad in front of me, and I can just look up and see if if I've moved slightly, whether I'm still in shot or not. But the last couple of times I've gone to do that, the app I use just will not work. So I'm winging it. I've got my camera above me, and I've set it up so that if I'm on the green mat, I should be in shot, in theory. But the mat might move, and I may not realise. So hopefully I have stayed visible enough so that you can see what I'm actually doing. So I'll leave that there for today. I'm going to leave this all to dry. And then what I think I will do as well is line these flaps with music paper as well, so that it's sort of a bit cohesive. A lot of this, obviously, you're not going to see because I'm going to have signatures sewn in there, so that middle bit is not really going to be visible. And then the edges, you will see, when the book's first opened or when you get to the end. So I'm quite happy with how that's turned out for now. As I say, I am going to go round, and anything that's lifted, I'm just going to add a bit more glue, and then I'm going to leave it to dry before I do any more messing about, so that hopefully it will all stay put. I think I'll put this underneath something heavy to help it all settle down. So I hope you found that interesting. It wasn't very exciting, was it? Just sticking down scraps of paper, but still. Yeah, so then when I come back next time, we'll carry on. I'll pull some pages together, make some signatures, we'll sew them in. And obviously I've got to do something to the front cover. So I hope you'll join me for that next time. Thanks for watching today. Take care and stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.